Hello Logic Language Learners and welcome back. This is a video that was requested by, a question that was asked by Elena, who has supported the channel for some time, so I hope you enjoy this. Also for Richard, who studies with me, who is based in London but spends a lot of time in France, and this is something that we were talking about. So we are talking about how to say how to basically use a preposition before a country. So that means when you're going to a country, from a country, or living in a country. Those are basically the situations that we're going to be bringing up. And we are dividing it into feminine, plural, masculine, etc. So I'm going to give you a quick guide very quickly on what the basic ones are that will cover 90% of what you need to say, and then we will talk about a few interesting points at the end. So the quick stuff's coming up, then we have the interesting points. Okay, if you want any other videos doing, if there's anything else that interests you, please do not forget to contact me, logiclanguagelearning@gmail.com, or indeed on Facebook, Logic Language Learning. If you find me on there, by all means add me as a friend, or by all means say hi just on the page or to me as a person. And don't forget to click like, and please subscribe if it's useful, because it really does help me. Okay, so we can do this in two ways. We can either go all through the feminines, all through the masculines, all through the plurals, or we can talk about the different situations. So I live, I'm going, I'm coming from. Okay, so I think we'll do the first way. We'll do the second way. We'll do the I live, yada yada. He, I'm going, to all the different going, I'm coming. Okay, so basic pointers. Countries have genders. Okay, it's pretty easy to work out the gender of a country. Normally, if it ends in an E, it's feminine. If it doesn't, it's masculine. There are some exceptions. I will talk about those when we go point by point on cities, towns, countries later, but just to get the main pattern down. And obviously you can tell if a country is plural because it will be referring to a plural noun. So for example, the United States, les États-Unis, double zozo, les États-Unis. In fact, it doesn't matter which way you're going to be saying that word. There's always going to be the liaison. Les États-Unis, the States. Aux États-Unis, come to that in a moment, to the United States. Des États-Unis, there's always going to be the zo with the States, okay? We don't say Amérique or anything like that. That's the continent, okay? So we don't use that one. So, yeah, so, or Pays-Bas, the Low Countries, meaning Holland, okay, Philippines, the Philippines. So they're plural countries. You know when they're plural. So let's start with live. So if you've got something feminine, so no, let's go masculine, feminine, plural. Right, so I live in Portugal. Portugal, so masculine countries will tend to have O, okay? You will say yes, O is there's the to and the, but that's fine. So, for example, j'habite au Portugal. Okay, j'habite au Japon. Okay, so masculine, live, au. Feminine, live, en. Okay, so j'habite en France, j'habite en Angleterre, j'habite en Allemagne. Okay. Countries that begin with the vowels, that begin with the vowel, regardless of what sort of gender they are, you know, will be en as well, if I'm not mistaken. En Italie. Yeah, feminine country there anyway, but so j'habite en Italie, okay? Plural country, you have got to the, so au. So aux États-Unis, j'habite aux Pays-Bas, aux Philippines, okay? You have the AUX, all written underneath. Living in a city, this is the big thing that annoys everybody, à. J'habite à Paris, j'habite à Londres. Now this is the same preposition you use for when you go to a city, which is completely crazy in English. I'm going to London, I live in London. But I'm afraid with cities it will just be à. Okay, so quick reminder, j'habite en France, j'habite au, what should we say, Japon, j'habite en Italie, j'habite aux États-Unis, j'habite à Londres. Okay, so they're the basic living in. Okay, and you will find that the going to is exactly the same. So let's say again, I'm going to, the masculine, the feminine, the plural of all of those. So je vais en France. We don't need to say je vais à la France or anything like that. So je vais en France. Je vais au Portugal, au Japon. Je vais aux États-Unis, aux Pays-Bas. I'm going, feminine, a country with a vowel. Je vais en Italie. I'm going to, where should we go? Let's go to Berlin. Je vais à Berlin. So the going to and the living in are going to be the same. En, au, o with the X, en for the vowel one, and à for the city. Okay. Let's now look at coming from, which is obviously going to be a little bit different. So, je viens de France. Je viens d'Angleterre. Okay? Now, let me talk about this one. What is the number one thing that happens with countries that causes problems? Okay? We will come back onto this later, but the basic number one error that I hear is je viens de l'Angleterre, je viens de la France. Because you can say l'Angleterre et la France for countries when you are talking about them politically, but when you are talking about the movement idea, okay, so when you're talking about coming from somewhere, you don't use the article. So for example, if you said France has recognised that, you know, that would be la France, whatever, okay? And obviously in other times in your French, if you're coming from somewhere feminine, you can have de la, that's no problem. So for example, I'm coming from the cake shop, je viens de la pâtisserie, okay? But if you're talking about countries and you are coming from them and they are feminine, de. So I come from France, je viens de France. Okay, well he's coming back from France this evening, okay? Il va rentrer de France ce soir, okay? Coming from a masculine one, du. So he had o, du. So je viens du Portugal, je viens du Japon, je viens du, what else could we have that's Mexican? That's masculine, du Mexique, okay? I know Mexico ends in an E, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Countries that start with a vowel, d'Italie. Yeah, je viens d'Italie, straight into it, okay? Not de l'Italie, so no article with the coming from, okay? From a plural, je viens des États-Unis, je viens des Pays-Bas, je viens des Philippines, okay? City, fine, no article, je viens de Londres, I come from London. If the city begins with a vowel, same as normal in French, you're going to link it, so je viens d'Amsterdam, for example, okay? So quick reminder on the coming from, de, not de la, for a feminine, du, and you'll be going, hang on, but de doesn't have the article, but du contains the, because du is de le. I know, life's tough. So je viens de France, je viens du for a masculine, je viens des for a plural, okay? Je viens de, just simply for the town, yeah, there we go. So now let's start talking about these with a little bit more detail. So you've got your basic map. Okay, so number one problem solved is it's de rather than de la for feminine. And to go to, we use en for the feminine. Those are the two main problems that you will see. Yeah, the two main problems that you will hear is people wanting to say j'habite en France, je vais à la France. Yeah, and we don't have that. It's the same for in, it's the same for going to. Okay, that's the number one problem that we see. The second problem is that we have the de rather than de la. Okay, so that's probably most people watching this video's problem solved, I'd imagine. Okay, now let's look at something a bit more specific. So here's a list of some countries that let's see if we can work out their pattern. So la France, obviously feminine, ends in an E. Grèce, Suisse, l'Allemagne, l'Italie, l'Argentine, l'Espagne, la Grèce, la Chine, what else can we have? Ending in the feminine, okay? Masculine ones, let's look at how these are going to be mostly not ending in an E, yeah? And then there's the few exceptions that there are. So for example, le Portugal, le Brésil, le Maroc, so au Maroc, du Maroc, le Cambodia, l'Afghanistan, Afghanistan. So basically, what would be a useful thing for you to do would be to practice saying these. You know how much I talk about getting it in your mouth. So just say. So if I give you la France, say for me, en France, de France, with the verb come. So say, je vais en France, je viens de France. So everyone I give you could practice that. Okay, le Portugal. Okay, je vais au Portugal, je viens du Portugal. Just practice saying the a idea and the de idea. Yeah, so je vais en, je viens du, if we're talking feminine and masculine, je viens en, en, de, au, du. Okay? Plurals, les États-Unis, les Pays-Bas, les Philippines, les Bahamas, les Maldives. Yeah, so remember that some places we think of as islands are actually island nations. So, you know. So, obviously there are some exceptions. There are countries which end in an E and are masculine, okay? And some of these you will possibly use regularly. Some of these you will go the rest of your French-speaking life and never come across them. So we've got le Mexique, le Belize, le Cambodge, le Mozambique, le Zaire, le Zimbabwe. Okay, so these are, we probably talk about le Mexique quite a lot. In French territory, we talk about, we tend to talk about Cambodge and Mozambique a little bit more, Mozambique a bit more than we would in English territory, but there you go, okay? Lovely. So, pretty much the same thing stands for continents. Okay, if it ends in a feminine letter, if it ends in an E, it tends to be considered to be feminine. So, l'Asie, Asia, l'Amérique du Nord, l'Amérique du Sud, okay, l'Afrique, l'Antarctique, l'Australie, l'Europe. So, feminine for grammatical purposes because they end in an E. Okay. Right, so let's now run through some specific notes to do with the specific stuff. So, let's talk about the general rule. So when the name of a region or whatever, a country or a continent or a city or no, forget city. When the name of, let me think, a region, a country, so more than just a country, so you've got an area, whatever, a continent, all those things. That was so badly put. What I mean is when you're talking about a region, a city or a continent, if it ends in an E, it would generally be feminine, okay? So la France, l'Angleterre, la Suisse, la Chine, l'Inde, la Californie, l'Asie, okay? To say you are going to it, okay, you are going to use the en. We've said that before with the others, okay? So, je vais en France, en Italie, en Afrique, yeah, which is a continent, but we're still saying en Afrique. Let's go with an area, let's say en Floride. More about areas later because they are a complete pain in the bottom if they are American areas, if they are states, okay? To say you are there, use the same as to say you are going. That's one of the rules of this video. Going equals being there. So, je suis en France, en Italie, en Afrique, en Floride. Okay, we will tend to use the en for the feminines, okay? To say you're coming from it, we are going to use the de. Can I remind you that we don't use the de? So, je viens de France, je viens d'Italie, je viens d'Afrique, je viens de Floride. We don't need to say de l'Afrique, we don't need to say de la Floride, okay? Africa is, yes, l'Afrique est. Florida is la Floride est, yes, but not in the movement thing, okay? I think we're starting to get that rule. And again, we've talked about their exceptions, okay? That there are feminine sounding ones that are masculine, okay? Great. When the name of a region, country, continent, whatever, I suppose, in theory, although I can't think of one right now, doesn't end in an E, it's or ends in another, it's whether it ends in an E. So it's not about a vowel, it's whether it ends in an E. That will be masculine. So for example, le Canada, le Japon, le Brésil, Luxembourg, whatever, even areas. So le Texas, for example, okay, la Floride, le Texas. Okay, so to say you are going to it, you are going to use what we've talked about before, the simple guide, we are going to say O. And that is what confuses people because you are obviously having a to and a the with O, yeah? And when you are going to a feminine one, you are not having a to and a the. You are not saying à la. So that is basically the annoying thing. I suppose the only way you could possibly think about it is O is one word and en is one word, you know? So for example, to say I'm going to those places, je vais au Niger,